Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2 action. We got ForJumy going up against ShoWTimE at the Homestory Cup 24 Group C. Kicking it off with ShoWTimE versus ForJumy, a PvP on site Delta to start with. The story of this group is basically, we got the Mauer, we got ShoWTimE, but we also have Skillus, the Ukrainian Protoss, and we have Spirit, all fighting for top 3 in the mix. We also have people such as ForJumy. We have, I think, Baby Marine as well. And I'm forgetting one other name. Stefano. The last name is Stefano. So let's see what these two Protosses are going to do to each other. ForJumy clearly a little bit of an underdog in this tournament, and I haven't seen games from him before. I do see some funny Twitter posts now and again. He's been on the grind, so I'm interested to see what he can do. Can he break the wall? Kind of like Attack on Titan, you know? For now, both players completely mirroring each other's build. Up until now, ShoWTimE taking a second gas, where Yumy has not taken his second gas just yet. Both players blocking each other's Nexus. Cores go down, and no Nexi so far. Still no second gas for Yumy. ForJumy. We're just gonna say Yumy. Does put down a second pylon, and ShoWTimE does scout the fact that there was no gas just yet. So he knows that Yumy was quite invested in getting that Nexus a little early, which is why he's still blocking it right now. But Yumy building another pylon outside of ShoWTimE's base, builds another gateway. So this pylon, kind of fake, actually made a gas and then cancelled it. Yumy gotta be putting on some aggression. We actually see a Zealot here, Stalker being chrono boosted out, gateway research starting. That's not weird because ShoWTimE knows there's not that much gas. Second, oh, it's a Stargate actually, not a gateway. For ShoWTimE going down, Yumy trying to block, but you know, you kind of want ShoWTimE to build a Nexus because you're going on the offense. That's a pretty big offense. No kill on the probe from ShoWTimE. It's still out on the map. And there is a Nexus down now. We see Stargate. We see a Stalker as well. What does ShoWTimE see? ShoWTimE sees no Nexus, no gas, no extra buildings just yet. So he goes into scout because he wants to know. He has 2 units. And now he sees another gateway. He sees 2 gateway units. With the remaining vision, Yumy not moving out. Very important. Because if he moves out to his proxy right away, ShoWTimE can actually see it with the remaining vision. That I think it lingers for like 2 seconds or so. But ShoWTimE does seem to be onto something. He has a shield battery. He has a Void Ray. Not a Oracle, which would be more common. And now ShoWTimE is about to find it out. Yes, here we go. He sees that there is indeed a proxy gateway here. Shade trying to get into the main, and it does get into the main. Might get a little bit of damage done. ForJumy still no Nexus. So this is an all-out attack for Yumy. He does get a couple of probes. 3 probes do go down, and now the Void Rays refueled. Second Void Rays being built. This looks like a PvP from a Gold League game, where one of them just starts building Void Rays. We do see 5 Stalkers here, but there's already a battery. Second battery coming up. If you play Terran, you know that this is an unbreakable combination. And we see a full wall, actually, from Yumy. That probably tipped off ShoWTimE earlier, where he saw, like, full wall, that's never good. That means you're doing something cheeky. Now we see 4 gateways in total, so this is just a nice, clean 4-gate. And I guess Yumy's just going to bank up units and hope that ShoWTimE messes up, moves out early. Because this doesn't look good. Adept shades in, providing vision for the Stalkers. Stalkers target down one of the units. Try to target down a Void Ray now. Nuclear battery committed. And the Stalkers move back. And no Stalkers were... Oh, 1 Stalker died. And the Adepts died. Now, nuclear battery was used, which did drain half that battery now. And ForJumy trying to move up the ramp, but it's such a tight choke with 2 shield batteries and a bunch of Stalkers blocking the way as well. Oh, enough Stalkers are here to 1-tap or 2-tap the Void Rays. Oh, not enough Stalkers left now. He has to retreat. The probe being pulled off the line. Stalkers actually hitting the Nexus there. Critical shots going onto the Nexus instead of units or buildings. And now the 2 Void Rays. Oh, this Stalker count seems a little low for Yuumi here. Still no Nexus, so he is very committed to killing ShoWTimE here, which is something ShoWTimE did notice, because ShoWTimE just pulled the workers right away. No hesitation. He's like, if this attack does nothing, I win the game, because I got that Nexus down already. And he sees how many Stalkers there are being added on every time Yuumi pokes up his head. I would prefer Yuumi to just chill, wait for the right amount of Stalkers that is able to one-shot a Void Ray and then go up again. But now he's kind of revealing his hand here. We do see Twilight Console maybe going into some desperation DTs. Damn, name a more iconic duo than a Desperate Protoss and a Dark Shrine. Now, 2 Adepts do get into the main base, might attract a little bit of attention of ShoWTimE here. Nice gateway to block out the Adepts here. 1 Void Ray is on cleanup duty. But the Adepts here do get a couple probe kills. We see 2 probe kills, 3 probe kills. But ShoWTimE is still ahead, even though he's getting a couple probe kills. And Robo facility underway. We do see the Dark Shrine from Yuumi here. But this Robo is going to be in time. And now we do see Blink. Still no second base, though. At this point, he almost has to get one just because his main is about to mine out. Look at that. I was completely new that that mineral plant was about to expire, to illustrate my point. But as you can see, for Yuumi is really broken. This is the big difference we see with Legacy of the Void from Heart of the Swarm, for example, where all of these patches used to be 1,500 minerals, or 2,500 is. But now it's only half the patches. I feel like we're going to see 1 Dark Templar warp in, the Observer's going to be out, and then, you know, Yuumi just leaves the base. And then we see 1 probe coming down to the natural, trying to mine slightly more efficiently. Yuumi trying to catch a couple of units here from ShoWTimE. Ooh, ShoWTimE doesn't finish that shade. And he doesn't want to donate free units to Yuumi now. He's in such a good position. The only way ShoWTimE can lose is move out. Basically get caught in the middle of the map and take an unfair fight, or like a fight away from his shield batteries. Although the army count has equalized and ShoWTimE has 2 bases to 1. Yuumi needs really good pickoffs here. He needs to like find the Void Rays alone and just blink on them and kill them before the rest of the army joins them. It's all up to ShoWTimE to not make a mistake here. He even has a sentry. Nice force field. Catches out the Stalker. And Yuumi, oh, Blink barely didn't finish. But he could have, if it was finished, he could have chosen not to blink, to not reveal the fact that he has it. Now he reveals the blink, gets on top of the army, immediately snipes the Immortals. Now clicking down the Void Rays as well. Only 1 Void Ray left, and the Stalkers are slowly dying here. But now he has blink. That was a pretty decent fight for Yuumi there. Adepts find nothing on the other side of the map. But Yuumi not a second Nexus behind this. Never built any DTs. DT Shrine was actually cancelled. I think probably because Yuumi saw this Robo building, he cancelled it in time. And now Yumi's just stuck on Stalkers only, and this is 5 shield batteries. I don't know if any unit will ever die, unless you have enough Stalkers to one-shot units. And that's a very important thing in PvP. You have to know how many Stalker shots you need to one-shot a unit. And ShoWTimE the Mauer defends like a stone wall and takes game 1. And Yuumi gave us a little throwback there in game 1 to the olden days with a cheeky 4-gate, trying to 4-gate ShoWTimE on a map where you actually have a ramp into your natural. So not the most common build, I would presume, because as you could see, ShoWTimE had a pretty easy time defending that, all things considered. He sniffed it out in time, made a shield battery, made a nice amount of Void Rays, knowing that he had a low gateway count, and in the end, Yuumi couldn't snipe the Void Rays, because the Void Rays were always positioned behind the buildings, making sure that only the front, like 2 Stalkers of the whole Stalker pack could actually shoot the Void Ray, which means you can't one-tap the Void Ray, which means your shield batteries are actually useful. because you either have to drain the shield batteries dry by just, you know, attacking units constantly, or you have to one-tap units, making sure that the shield batteries just can't heal fast enough. And that's what you usually see with like 2 Banshees in Terran versus Protoss, for example, or 2 Adepts in PvP. And, well, in ZVP we just make Banelings, so that's not a good example. I guess 3 Roaches. They one-shot probes as well. From those early, like, Proxy Hatchery Burrow Roach builds, that's where you try to one-shot probes, even though they might have a shield battery. Now, both players electing to go for a high ground wall this game, not going for that low ground wall, and that's just because there is no ramp at the natural. If you build a wall here, it's so much easier to use your whole army to kill that because you don't have the vision advantage as the defender with the wall. So you build your wall on top of this ramp instead, where you do get that vision advantage. Now we see double Stalker coming out from ShoWTimE, whereas we see Yuumi going for a Sentry plus Stalker. So Sentry usually a little bit more macro-oriented, a little bit more defensive, because it does delay that tech building that you could be putting down, but it does give you a little bit more minerals, because Sentries are mostly gas, to get this fast second Nexus. So Yuumi trying to get a little bit of a macro game going here. Meantime, ShoWTimE kind of telling us that he feels like he's the favorite, because he's looking all over the map to find some kind of proxy, whereas Yuumi is just cutting a corner. He's like, nah, I'm not even going to look for those. ShoWTimE is not really the type of player to do that most games. I just want to get that Nexus down, get my economic advantage up, and I'll get my tech building later. And it's pretty late, honestly. He's getting a couple gateway units now, but no tech yet for Yuumi. He does have this hallucinated Oracle. It's going out, and ShoWTimE... Oh, he actually gets the clicks on it, so he knows that it's fake, because hallucinations take double damage. So, if you saw Hearthstone versus DNS, we saw an Oracle really trip DNS up in that game, because the Oracle could have been real. But now, I expect ShoWTimE to just not react at all. We see Twilight Console being scouted here. And there's a sentry for ShoWTimE as well. ShoWTimE knows about the second base, but there's already 6 probes there. Just chilling. We got a sentry, got a shield battery. And we also have a Twilight Console for Yuumi as well, with a Forge. So he's sitting pretty, and he's just up a base, basically. Now we do see Twilight Console finishing, and he goes for the Blink instant Chrono Boost. If he constantly Chrono Boost this one, with the new Chrono Boost from the new Nexus as well, he can have Blink earlier than Yuumi. Assuming that Yuumi doesn't use all of his Chrono Boost on the Blink, and then you can have a pretty cheeky timing, just walking up to the shield battery, one-tapping it, and then blinking out the weakened Stalkers. And then you can get a pretty decent fight. But I don't know if ShoWTimE wants to go for that timing right now. Do see +1 coming out for Yuumi as well. He's really going for a longer game strategy here, whereas ShoWTimE kind of like playing it safe, as it were. Not investing too much into upgrades, getting his Nexus, but not too early, like no risks. And I say that, but ShoWTimE going out for a potential third base, which I say it every time we are on this map. Oceanborn allows you to do this because you can put your army in between the third and the natural and just defend both access points. Now, is this actually going to be a third base here? From ShoWTimE, it looks like it. We see a bunch of gateways coming out from Yuumi. We see Blink and +1 and a bunch of gateways. So is Yuumi going to do with timing? We see no gases as well. No attempt at a third base. I kind of feel like Yuumi wants to move out with all of this all of these gateways. He just wants to explode into a Stalker amount that will overwhelm ShoWTimE, or at least force him away from that third base location. Because if you have Blink, of course, you can't really run away then as the other Protoss player. Oh, one Stalker does get caught here. Nice catch by ShoWTimE. We actually see a probe come with the army. Is he going to throw down a pylon? All of these gateways are done, so Yuumi is very strong right now, as in his production is way bigger than that of ShoWTimE. And for Yuumi, moving in here onto the third base, he has a Guardian Shield and some Force Fields. with Blink Stalkers on both sides. Clicks down the shield battery. Good job. Don't want to give ShoWTimE that defender's advantage. And now Yuumi warping in slow warp-in Stalkers here at the third base, trying to overwhelm. We have pretty equal Stalker numbers, but Yuumi up 2 Stalkers, and that can snowball pretty fast because he has +1 as well. Ooh, nice Blink Stalker micro by ShoWTimE here. We see more shield batteries being added on, but Yuumi pressing the issues before the shield batteries finish, clicking down the Stalkers. The probe's coming up the line, but they don't want any of this business. And now Yuumi blinking in, making sure that ShoWTimE can't take in position near his batteries without using Blink to get back. Now all Stalkers have used Blink, and that's 6 more Stalkers being morphed in by Yuumi. I think Yuumi just has too many Stalkers. He can potentially one-shot Stalkers, or at least two-shot them, making these shield batteries a whole lot less effective. And ShoWTimE has so few Stalkers that he can't even defend his own shield batteries. I feel like Yuumi has done this, overpowering ShoWTimE here with just pure Stalker numbers and the +1 upgrade, hurting like hell. Now Yuumi just going for the throat here, doesn't care about this third base. Just unpowering some pylons so that ShoWTimE has to rebuild those later on. There is an Immortal now. Yuumi taking a third base of his own. So he's content playing a longer game, so principled. That's actually really class act. Joe, the blunk onto the Immortal. 2 shots, bim, bada boom. And it's dead. We do have 2 shield batteries here. Get drained almost immediately. That +1 attack really paying dividends. And now we see the Zealots coming out. They tank really well for this Stalker army. And that's double worth if your Stalkers just have better upgrades than your opponent's Stalkers. A second Immortal comes out. Blink is on cooldown, which is why ShoWTimE is allowed to do this. Also, he just wanted to save his third Nexus, but the Nexus goes down. The Immortal goes down. And ShoWTimE's hopes and dreams go down the drain as Yuumi just overpowering him in the Stalker versus Stalker battle. And now look at how many Stalkers he has, just one-shotting the last few remaining units of ShoWTimE, and just like that, he evens up the score 1-1. And for Yuumi, this youngster, 21-year-old German Protoss as well, so probably looks up to ShoWTimE quite a bit, takes the second game in this best of 3. ShoWTimE, no more extra lives for you, buddy. You gotta step it up. This feisty young Protoss player is hungry for the dub. And we see again a wall on top of the ramp because there's no ramp on or at your natural location. And ShoWTimE doing the same thing. Let's see when these players deviate this game. Because of course, in a mirror matchup at the start, both players are going to be doing relatively similar stuff. We see double gas for both players. So for Yuumi not going back to his game 1 build where he went for 1 gas and tried to get an expansion and then just transitioned into a cheeky 4-gate with proxy gateway. 2 gates coming out from both players, and Yuumi's probe is moving around, maybe trying to put... It's kind of a proxy, but not really, because it's kind of close to your base. 7-X core going down for both players. Now let's see. Is Yuumi going to proxy a pylon here to confuse ShoWTimE? He does. And what does ShoWTimE see? Sorry for that. ShoWTimE does see that there is a pylon missing for now. Is Yuumi going to use it? He does have his probe still there. Is he going to put down the proxy Stargate, perhaps? Nothing of the sort just yet, but he's moving it around. We see 2 Stalkers and gateway pressure, and now ShoWTimE sees no extra pylon. He's looking for it. Where's that second pylon, buddy? Where is it? ShoWTimE put his in the main, like a proper gentleman Protoss, and builds a Stargate. We see a Twilight Console for Yuumi here. Now, what is going to happen here? Ooh, double Adept versus double Stalker. So, ShoWTimE is going to be on the offensive earlier. We see a pylon at the wall of Yuumi from ShoWTimE, and this makes sure that ShoWTimE knows which units just popped out of Yuumi's base, so that he knows if he needs to stay at his own base or needs to shade forward. And we see a pylon, or a probe from Yuumi actually going in. And we see a shield battery preventing the probe from entering. So Yuumi doesn't know that there's a Stargate about to finish. Twilight Console did finish for Yuumi. No Dark Shrine, though. So is he going to use this for an upgrade? He is going to use this for Blink. And we see 2 Adepts from ShoWTimE trying to get in here. But the probe is ready to build a pylon or a shield battery to make sure that these shades don't come in. Oh my god, no! He misses! No, no! Oh, that's not supposed to happen. And, oh, big surround, though, by the probes. 3 probes do go down to the Adepts. So, a little mistake there from Yuumi. Loses 3 probes for that. But he's not out of this game. I hope that doesn't shake him up too much. Probe going down for a nice cheeky natural. He knows ShoWTimE does not have a natural. And another probe trying to scout. We do see this Oracle coming out. Not a hallucination this time. Actually going to be hitting the Twilight Console. Sees that it's upgrading, that there's Chrono Boost there. So finds out what Yuumi's doing, and he sees 4 Stalkers. That basically tells you that that is Blink. And ShoWTimE knows what's up now. Immediately canceling this extra shield battery backline. I don't know what you call that. Just like the backup batteries. And the Oracle, only used for scouting, killing 1 lone probe on the map. Goes back and is happy with what he can tell his boys at home. And ShoWTimE also saw that there's a Nexus coming. Throws down his own Nexus. He knows that he's slightly behind in the base count. Or in the base counter. Because Yuumi's base will finish earlier. Yuumi actually long distance mining that's, I believe, slightly less efficient than just oversaturating to 24, which is ShoWTimE is doing. At least that's what Alpha Star did. So we just kind of assume that Alpha Star knows what he's doing, right? But I guess you do mine out your main slightly less fast if you long distance mine to your natural. So I can see the upsides. You can delay your third base a little bit longer. And Oracle going out. Trying to get a little bit of damage done, perhaps. Or just some additional scouting. We do see a stasis trap here. And an Immortal ready to defend against this Blink bullshit. And Yuumi might be tempted to blink into the main if he can get some vision. I don't know if he has a sentry. He does. He does have an hallucination that might give him a little additional vision. There's an observer out here as well. So ShoWTimE is going to know if these Stalkers are up to something cheeky. And there it is. Yuumi might attempt to blink into the main base. And ShoWTimE is not necessarily in position. He does have an Oracle here that has 0 kills, and the Stalkers are in the main. Immediately 3-tap this pylon. And that's a kill streak. Another pylon getting depowered by these Stalkers. So annoying. Tries to one-shot a Stalker there. Didn't go for the sentry. Oh, blinks on top of the unit. Kills a Stalker, then kills the Immortal as well. For Yuumi getting a lot of value here from his Stalkers. And getting a third base behind it. Oh my god, he's so aggressive. And he's getting so much value. Oh my god, look at the worker count dwindling fast. And all these unpowered buildings now. The Robo's back online. Second Immortal is coming out. Can he blink to the low ground? And he can. He can perhaps kill another probe here. Or get out with his life. For Yuumi up in workers now. Oh, and he walks in. Oh! No way! No way! He walked into the stasis trap and blinked out. Gets that extra little bit of value. And now ShoWTimE trying to take a third base because he sees, well, Yuumi has one. I want to have one as well, but Yuumi not taking his foot off the pedal. Pedal to the metal. Keep pushing for gas because he wants to go and kill ShoWTimE here. He has a third Nexus, but I'm not sure how much saturation that Nexus will see. We see charge coming out. We have a forward gateway. And we are going to see a lot of gateway units hammering down this third base in a couple, well, in like 30 seconds to a minute. When Yuumi gets like 1 or 2 warp-ins from these 4 extra gateways, I think it's go time. We see 2 Immortals, which are pretty good against Stalkers, but as soon as the charged Zealots join the fight, they are very expensive Stalkers indeed. And this Oracle just scouting does have 5 kills to its name, so did kill a couple probes at some point. And we see ShoWTimE does kind of keep it competitive when you look at the worker count, and actually his army is higher in supply. But Yuumi kind of ahead in the tech here, I would say. And ShoWTimE invested a lot of money into rebuilding his probes. And 2 Immortals here get force fielded in, but actually you don't want to be there. Who's stuck here with whom? Nuclear battery has been used. Now we see 4 Zealots being warped in. Oh my god, the Adepts get into the 3rd base. And that's going to be very annoying for Yuumi. He has to somehow, some way get rid of these Oracles in the main. My god, ShoWTimE doing such a good job of delaying. And now ForJumy actually feels like he needs a recall, go back home, and now he loses probes in every base. And it's chaos here. ShoWTimE is back in this baby. Look at the class on this guy. Just annoying Yuumi, using the pieces that he does have to make sure that Yuumi has to stay at home, defend his probe lines, and now ShoWTimE, with all the good stuff that Yuumi was doing, is now up 10 probes. And Yuumi does have a bigger army, but all of that army is at his base and not in front of yours. And so ShoWTimE can actually consolidate his forces, use his energy on the Oracles to get stasis traps. And Yuumi just has gateway units. No +1 this game. And he just walks up a ramp, but ShoWTimE knows you can't walk up that ramp. That's real scary. 2 Immortals up a ramp? Nuh-uh. Now, we do see +1 about to finish for Yuumi. I think if he gets, like, 1 more Zealot warp in with +1, this might be pretty scary, but he needs to make sure that he doesn't get got by this stasis trap. And I don't know if nuclear batteries are up again. 3 units get got by the stasis, not too big of a problem. We see another warp in into the main base here from a Warp Prism. And this is actually quite a few units here from Yuumi, but the Stalkers minimize the surface area. And Yuumi walks up here. Nice force fields, locking out half the Zealots from Yuumi. Good job by ShoWTimE. Stasis Trap gets popped. Nuclear Battery gets popped. No units are dying here. He blonks onto them, hoping that that gives him extra damage. And he targets down both of the Immortals. Nuclear Battery still going strong, but there's just so many units from Yuumi. And ShoWTimE, GG's out. He had to split his army. Part of his army was in the main. Part of it was at the 3rd base. And Yuumi's army was just too big to deal with for ShoWTimE. And just like that, Yuumi takes the game from ShoWTimE 2-1. Dude, that's a big dub. That's kind of an upset. We're going to see how he fares in the rest of this group. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that game. Be sure to leave a like or a comment or just subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.